Now that several classic X-Men actors have been confirmed to be returning in Avengers, Doomsday, Marvel Studios has the perfect opportunity to address one of 20th Century Fox's biggest loose ends from 2017's Logan. Fox's two-decade-long X-Men franchise came to an end in 2020 with the rushed release of The New Mutants, bringing the series to a disappointing conclusion. However, the MCU has now confirmed that a number of characters from Fox's classic X-Men team will return in Avengers, Doomsday, presenting the opportunity for redemption and for untold stories to be explored. Bringing back some of these classic mutant characters will give Marvel the chance to bid a fond farewell to the team, while also filling in some huge gaps in Fox's X-Men timeline. One of the most interesting and complex unseen stories from the X-Men franchise occurred in the period between X-Men, Days of Future Past and the future set Logan. 2017's Logan was set in 2029, and Marvel Studios' current continuity is nearing this period, which means Avengers, Doomsday has the chance to fill in these gaps, which is incredibly exciting for the MCU. Avengers, Doomsday is bringing back the classic X-Men team from before 2017's Logan. Avengers, Doomsday will likely be set prior to Logan's 2029. Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier in his water tower hideaway in Logan. Logan released as a somewhat standalone movie in Fox's X-Men franchise, exploring 2029 in a world where no new mutants have been born in 25 years thanks to the manipulation of the food supply at the hands of Transigen. Logan only featured Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier's and Hugh Jackman's James Logan Howlett from the original X-Men team. Avengers, Doomsday, alternatively, will include even more classic X-Men members and supporting characters, which suggests Doomsday will occur prior to Logan, though perhaps quite soon behind, perhaps only a year. The majority of Daredevil, Born Again, the MCU's most recent installment, takes place in 2027, shortly after New Year's. This means that Avengers, Doomsday may take place in 2027 or 2028, perfectly lining up with the timeline of Logan, which revealed that one of the most catastrophic events in Fox's X-Men franchise occurred a year prior to the 2029 set storyline of Logan. This means that Avengers, Doomsday is perfectly primed to explore this unseen event from Logan, and could perhaps even give this tragic storyline a dark MCU twist. Logan's biggest X-Men tragedy can finally be explored in the MCU. Professor X's seizures caused a huge tragedy prior to Logan. Logan saw Wolverine taking care of an elderly Charles Xavier after the deaths of the rest of the X-Men team. It was soon revealed that the X-Men actually met their demises at the hands of Xavier himself, as one of his intense telepathic seizures in his Westchester home killed many members of the X-Men and several hundreds of other innocent lives, human and mutant alike. This event is perhaps one of the biggest things to ever occur in Fox's X-Men franchise, but it has never been seen on screen. It would be great if Marvel could change this. Some core members of the classic X-Men team have already been confirmed to be returning, while it's possible they could also be joined by the likes of Halle Berry, Famke Janssen, Anna Paquin, Shawn Ashmore, and more. This could reintroduce a full roster for the X-Men from Earth 10005 back into live action, which could easily set up the exploration of Charles Xavier's catastrophic seizure and the deaths of the X-Men. It would be exhilarating to see this event on screen in Avengers, Doomsday, and the sequel's newest villain could provide a fantastic and dark explanation. Marvel could give Logan's darkest storyline a brilliant MCU twist. Logan's biggest mystery can finally get an explanation in the MCU. Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier holding the arm of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in Logan, 2017. It would be incredibly dark to see Logan's missing Charles Xavier storyline unfold in the MCU, but this would be a brilliant reason for the X-Men cast returning, and a fantastic way to bid them farewell. Exploring this storyline would allow Avengers, Doomsday to fill in the major gaps in Fox's X-Men franchise, but this could also connect Professor X's seizures and the death of the X-Men to Doctor Doom. Robert Downey Jr.'s return to the MCU as Victor Von Doom, not Tony Stark, is highly anticipated, and he could make a strong first impression by manipulating Professor X. Alternatively, Marvel Studios could explain the dislodging of Charles Xavier's mind and psyche to have been caused by the destabilization of the multiverse. Avengers, Doomsday is the rise to have the Avengers and the X-Men brought together to fight Doctor Doom amid destructive incursions ravaging the multiverse. These incursions could easily explain Professor X's power going out of control, which will ultimately cause the deaths of Fox's X-Men team, including, eventually, Xavier and Wolverine themselves in Logan, so Avengers, Doomsday will be the perfect place to say goodbye.